Let's talk about future of DevOps. My name is Yaroslav Molochko and I'm Director of Engineering at Squad. And during my career, I noticed that predicting the future is a go-to skill for any true leader. Because you need to know the path whenever you lead. And if you're leading far enough, you need a map. Swordly created one for us, and I'm using it right now. It has visibility level axis, which is varies from visible to invisible, and horizontal axis, which corresponds to maturity level, can be one of Genesis, custom build, product, and commodity. Genesis is the most expensive one, commodity is the least expensive one, and product is where most of the businesses trying to stick, and commodity is where most of the businesses trying to get resources from and or depend on. Also, this map is highly context dependent. Basically, you cannot use the New York map to drive in Kiev. Similar with this map, you cannot use this map for anything except for what it was built for. Doesn't matter whether it is your personal map or your company map, you need to build a new one whenever you switch in gears or switch in company or whatever. So let's begin our journey to DevOps future. First of all, we need to understand the current situation. And DevOps right now is about coding, building, testing, packaging, releasing, configuring, and monitoring. That's information I got from Wikipedia. And I decided, okay, what are two main features that any product should have? It is some feature set and some product stability. Both of it highly visible to our user, and the product feature depends on releasing, packaging, configuring, building, testing, and coding, while product stability depends on configuring and monitoring. So right now we have current present state of our DevOps world hypothetical for this product. But as we know, as I already said, any successful business should move to commodity level and depend on commodity area. So we have a requirement from a business, and this requirement was already fulfilled by function as a service. At least they promise so. In fact, as these services were built currently in a custom build, they are not interchangeable. If you build something to AWS Lambda, you cannot run it in Google Function and vice versa. They have problems like vendor lock, monitoring, configuring, and cost. And in fact, despite the promises, we have monitoring, configuring, packaging almost in the same level as they used to be. So what's the point? And there will be point if we get to common standards for function as a service. What it means is that someday major cloud providers should meet and agree on the interfaces that we as users will use to build our products on top of it. And we will be able to interchange the cloud providers, and the adoption of the function as a service will dramatically increase whenever this happens. Basically, it will be what it is now on the picture. So what happens with the coding and testing? That's actually a good question and a big question mark, because one of the possible ways it will evolve is using app-hub. For instance, I see it can be app-hub, it can be anything. Basically, it's like GitHub, but instead of source code, you are using applications and you are sharing this application between several users, or just publish to the world, and you can probably will be able to bill your users of your applications per execution, which kind of great thing to have, right? And our new feature might look like this. So releasing and configuring is on top, and AppHub is covering all of this underneath: packaging, monitoring, building, testing, coding. And coding, if you were attentive enough, is moved from custom build to product. What it means that we will be able to buy it, some code, some source code, and build it as it is right now, probably. But we also need it to move to some commodity level, and we depend on it. And how can we do that? Easily with the software to zero, we will have a possibility. By the way, it was introduced by Andrei Karpate, some top engineers, VP of IE at Tesla, who in 2017 proposed to use ML models and data to build new software in a new way. Basically, right now, software is too complicated to actually be maintained easily and cheap. And new software to zero approach can help here and save a lot of money. And if we adopt this way, we might be ending as a coding as a commodity, because there is no need to code. You just need the data and some model. And testing, I do not know what will happen to testing. Probably it will evolve something different. And one of the things that proves that predicting the future is complicated, because, for instance, previously we would just stop thinking about the future on the previous slide, but right now we need to be compliant with GDPR if we want to have business in Europe. And right now, most of the compliance tooling is custom built, or it is emerging market of a product, but the product are not that good, and we have a really great chance to work there and make the solution that we think will solve the problems here. And as we know that we have a shift to function as a service in the future, we know that we need to look for standards in the cloud, and whenever this happens, that's a clear sign that we need to adopt function as a service. There is a time. Data will be our king, and MLOps is the new DevOps. And compliance, which I discussed in the previous slide, is about 1 to 5 years from now. So make sure you got into this bandwagon if you need. And quantum computing can change everything. Like GDPR changed our way of thinking of the application. So key takeaways: check fast proposals, understand business. That is the most important task for you now. Dataset management is something that you need to think carefully. MLOps is something that you need to learn already. Compliance is for 1 to 5 years, but security is actually forever. And thank you very much for your attention, for your time. You can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Ping me if you have open questions. I will be happy to answer them.